Okay, at this point, we're going to create a drawing sheet set of multi-views and dimensions. So pulling up a previous year's class, that's going to look something like this. Okay, where you have your four components and you have your dimensions on your multi-views. Okay, so it's going to be one file with 4 pages. Um, let's see here. Other things you might want to have handy, your engineer's notebook to have your dimensioning guidelines and flowchart to refer to, along with in your notebook, you also have pretty much an answer key to what you're going to need on your drawing. So we have and did these in your notebook here a few days ago. So now that we have those, we were going to want to refer back to them. Okay. So what do we need to do? We want to have our dumb assembly already created and open. There's multiple ways to do this. From the design button that chooses the environment we want to work in. Okay, so we're going to do a drawing from design. We have two choices, from design, from animation. We're going to go from design. Okay, and you'll notice on this dialog box, there's an automatic button. That's new, and it actually kind of creates a mess. You'll spend more time cleaning it up. They're trying to make a smart feature, so it takes less time, but you'll spend more time cleaning it up than you will actually creating everything manually. Okay, the other thing we want to look at is the template. Now, my template automatically populated. So I'm just, if it doesn't automatically populate, it's probably going to show from scratch. And you see, that's why we talked about template size. If you do that, it is 11 by 17. That's not what we want. So you're going to do browse. If it didn't auto-populate, you're going to say okay, or whoops, we're going to click browse. And then you might have to navigate to your project, to your own project folder. So fourth period demo, um, and you created, and we already did, and moved your templates folder in a different previous video. So there's our DHS ANSI inches. I'm going to select that. I'm going to say OK. There's also some options with this. Full assembly, visible only, select. Unfortunately, at this point, full assembly is still the best way to do this. We're going to say OK, and then it's going to think for a little bit and bring up all 4 of those parts. Okay, you have a choice of what you're looking at, with what kind of views. Top, front, right, home, isometrics. There are times we may need to use other ones. In this case, for the cylinder, we want the front view, and that's a little bit small. And I'm not worried about the fact that I'm seeing all of them. We're going to toggle off the views that we do not want. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. That looks a little small. I'm going to do scale 1 to 1. We're going to go ahead and make sure we're going to do visible and hidden edges. And I think that's all we want for this one. We're going to then select where we want to put this. We can move it around after we get rid of the views and reposition it. So we're just going to drop it on the piece of paper. I'm going to say OK. Now, oh, when I did that, now my browser is covering some things up. So let's go ahead and hit the data panel. That gives me some more real estate so that I can see my browser, and it's not covering up half of my piece of paper. Let's see, up here, I'm going to toggle off the arch, the round column, and the window block simply by hitting the check mark next to the component and just keep the components that I want. Okay, and you'll notice now that kind of moved this over to the middle or right side of the paper. Typically, we want the top view, the front view, the right, the isometric, and in this case, we probably only need the top. Um, so Fusion is an intuitive program. our next choice, our first choice, like if we messed up, we could have go select a base view again. The next button is a projected view. Well, we want to project off of what? It says select the parent view. So I'm going to select the cylinder. There's the top view. There's the right view. There's the isometric. We can hit the green check mark and it creates everything. Now notice now when I move views around, they move together. So the alignment, when this is done properly, they stay aligned with their projected views. The isometric is separate. It's treated separately, but those views stay aligned. And of course, in this case, we know we don't need the cylinder or the right side. That's exactly the same. So I'm just going to click that and I can right click delete or just hit the delete button on my keyboard. Um, right now we've got a view brought in. So it's important that we save this file so we don't lose any work. And it's going to automatically populate as fun dimension drawing. Make sure you're saving it to the correct location, but it should be there if you start it in that file. We'll go ahead and click save. Now, this is a intelligent program. So our title is the title we just gave it for the title of our assembly, Fun Dimensioning. The project folder isn't working at this time, and I'm not exactly sure why. Don't have time to troubleshoot that at this moment, but this should say 2025-2026 IED. And for some reason, it's not titling as our project folder. And here we see it's drawn by Carl Conrad. So that's my name with today's date. We see the scale, that it's ANSI inches, so we don't have to have units on our labels. And we see it sheet 1 of 1, size A. Okay. One other thing we usually do, our cylinder, I can go in and edit the view, right clicking, edit, and typically the isometric is shaded. You wouldn't have to do that. And if your component color is painted black, do not select the shaded option because then it's just going to be a big blob of black ink on your paper. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and say OK. With the cylinder, then the next thing you're going to want to do, if we would look at our dimensioning standards, let's look at our flow chart. What is the next thing? Complete the multi-view drawing. So one of the things we did not do, and we have it complete, but could be a separate step, is to add center lines and center points where necessary. Now the only place we need a center mark is on the circle. Okay? Anytime you make a change, good idea to save it. So we're going to say OK. Now, we want this to be, as I showed in the example, one file. Okay, one file. So you should only have one drawing file for this entire assignment. You should not have 4 drawing files, one file. So adding a page, and we're going to do this right now. All you got to do at the bottom is quick add. Quick, quick, quick. So right now I have 4 pages and I can still go back to my cylinder and I have 4 pieces of paper ready to go for the rest of my project. I'm going to go ahead and click save, say OK.